Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, so I wanted to ask, uh, uh, thank you for all your presentations, first of all, and Avik, your analysis on autophagy was really interesting. But one of the things that you mentioned is a question that you left is what is the trigger for these for these altered levels? And so I'm wondering, if there's been thought as to underlying drivers of CFS and what can be done to look for these underlying causes. And so there's been, a lot of talk about, hidden viruses, things like that. But a lot of patients, myself included, complain of things like toxic mold, VOCs in homes, renovations, etc., triggering a lot of their symptoms. And so I'm wondering if there's any thought or prospective studies that you can think of to begin to analyze the environments that people with CFS are living in and be able to correlate, for example, household products with the emergence of CFS to really find an underlying driver. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Scott, for your question. As I mentioned before, that ME/CFS is highly heterogeneous disease. So it's like in terms of its etiology, it's very heterogeneous, and it's really hard to say that what causes this abnormality. However, there we have to start from something, from some common reference point. And as a molecular biologist, we can target only a pathway in a cell, and we can start from that reference point that like if that pathway is modulated or if that pathway is manipulated, so what are the consequences that can happen? So, and from our preliminary study, from our pilot study, we saw that ATG13 is a protein which is severely like like metabolism of that protein is severely impaired. So that's kind of that gives us an indication that the autophagy impairment is very critical in the progression of this disease. And yes, autophagy is a pathway that is linked to all different sorts of metabolic pathways like inflammation, mitochondrial toxicity, apoptosis, all different things, all different metabolic processes. So right now in our like understanding that mTOR pathway or the autophagy mTOR mediated autophagy pathway is a very common reference point from where we can start our disease model study and where we can manipulate that particular pathway to understand, to identify a drug candidate. And really, it's very hard to say that what exactly is causing the autophagy impairment and what. Yes, you are right because you said that like that mold attack, mold or viral infection. Yes, they might be involved, but as I said, like it's highly heterogeneous in nature, and it's very difficult to say what exactly causes that autophagy impairment. So that's my understanding.